Hi guys, welcome back to another Half Asleep Rambling. On this channel, I ramble and it's unscripted. Today I'm going to be talking about summer camp. Over the last few years, I've gone to summer camp a lot, but this year was different. At some point, I want to talk about how unpurposefully antisocial I was in the past. The main thing you need to know is that for the last 3, maybe 4 years, I was terrified of talking to people, like, at all. I had no desire to. If I was, like, near people, I would be scared of talking to them. That really is the short story of it. I've wondered about it for a while. I've wondered why I'm like that, or why I was like that. I'm changing. I have changed, but I've been trying to, like, I'm sorry. Are you kidding me? It is 11 o'clock. Why are the sprinklers doing this? I guess I'm turning around? But the point is that when I was at summer camp, I was completely out of my element. And at those critical moments where I should have been making friends to connect with and, like, have a community at camp, I was too scared to do any of that, which means I was alone at camp, which made it a horrible experience. Now, there were multiple times where people came up to me trying to, like, be friends, trying to make sure that I wasn't alone and that I was having a good time. But I didn't take that for what it was. I was just scared of talking, and so I was just annoyed that they were bothering me, if that makes any sense. But this year was different. For quite a few different reasons, I started to feel much more lonely coming up to this session of camp. Initially, I wasn't gonna go because for the reasons I just mentioned, I was having a terrible time. But all of a sudden, I realized that my mindset needed to shift. I wasn't connecting with people, and that is a problem. And once I realized that, I was like, oh shoot, dude, I just canceled my last opportunity to connect with people my age who are Christian. And as a Christian, that's fairly important. I'm happy to connect with anybody, but having a place to just be able to completely let your guard down, you don't have to let your beliefs be challenged for a week. You can just put all that aside and just connect with people. What a huge opportunity that I was missing, and that I had missed for the last few years. Luckily, they had slots at session 4. It was kind of a last minute thing, but they were able to get me in, and it was a great week. I was scared. I was legitimately scared because the last few times I'd gone in with kind of an open mind, but the wrong mindset, and I'd come back out feeling terrible. But this week was great. It was absolutely not perfect. Now that I knew, like, what to look for, like, dude, I realized how behind I was in, like, socializing with people, social skills in general. I had zero desire to pick those up in the most important time in the most crucial time for me to pick them up. So yeah, I did a lot of learning that week. And now I'm, like, filled with regret that I could not have had that mindset switch sooner. And at some point, I'm sure we will go into the things that I would have done differently, because I think those can be really valuable, especially if there are younger people listening. But yeah, for now, some things that I learned at camp. And I think thing number 1 was the idea that it's okay to just walk up and talk to people. Like, even if they're in a group, having a group conversation, obviously you don't want to be rude about it, but it is not rude in and of itself to just go up and talk. This is one of those things. It's a misconception. My entire life, I thought that if there were people in a group, it was off bounds. It was off limits. And that week, I don't know, I couldn't just not talk to people who were in groups. It was a weird boundary that I'd set up for myself. And, like, the moment I broke that down, I remember the first time I tested it, I think I had maybe one person that I kind of knew sitting over with a few girls over at, like, a picnic table. And I just walked over there, and I can't remember what I said, but I just kind of, like, there weren't any seats left at the table, so I just, like, sat on my knees at the end of the table. And I remember saying something to the extent of, like, so what did I miss? And it was so funny because they, without missing a beat, they just kind of, like, included me in their conversation. And I know without a doubt that that's more of a summer camp thing than a real life thing. But it was a great place to bolster my confidence for that kind of thing. Like, obviously in real life, you're not going to get as good of a reaction as that. But to realize it's not the end of the world to interrupt somebody, for some reason, that was a very liberating thing for me. I think generally my whole life, I've been trained and taught to be as polite as possible. But that has really held me back from being social, because when you're being, like, when you're like connecting with people and being social, you're not gonna be polite all the time. That's just how it works. That's formality. That's formal stuff that you do when you don't know people, right? And so being able to like learn the difference between like being formal, which is what you might do when you're meeting somebody formally, and like being more casual, learning the difference between those two was a huge game changer. It changed everything. It made it so much easier to talk to people at camp. Okay, so that's the first thing I learned. It's okay to cut in sometime. In fact, I'd say that could be applied to a lot of things. Just the idea that just because somebody has told you in the past that something is out of bounds, that doesn't mean you shouldn't look into it and figure out maybe why it's not out of bounds. Because I didn't ever question that until now, which had really held me back. I think the second thing that I learned was, and this was more of a perspective shift than anything, but was just the idea of being open to meeting people, being open to doing something that might be embarrassing. And meeting people is in and of itself something that can be embarrassing sometimes. Like I literally just paused this recording because I was walking up to some dude who was walking past and I tried to say hi to him. Like I paused the recording and I said hi. And the dude did not want to talk. He had his earbuds in and was just pretending I wasn't there. And that was incredibly embarrassing, but I don't regret doing that at all. I didn't do anything wrong by saying hi to him while he was on a walk. In fact, I wouldn't have done it any other way, because if he had been open to talking, we could have had a great conversation. I could have made friends with the dude, and you never know until you try. So especially in today's world that can isolate people, I feel very isolated a lot of the time when I'm making YouTube videos. And whenever you're feeling that way, you have to do something about it. So yeah, of course I'm gonna be open to talking to people once I realize that I'm lonely and I need to talk to people. As humans, we need to socialize with each other or we will go insane. And I say that as an introvert, or at least I thought I was an introvert. I might be a wounded extrovert, I don't know. But yeah, please don't let not feeling like it hold you back. Do try to meet people and meet them with an open mind. I think a lot of this stuff, it might even just be preaching to the choir in terms of like, a lot of people already know this stuff. A lot of people already are open to meeting people, but especially nowadays, like I'm not even sure anymore, because in my experience of trying to say hi to people in general, like that dude, like I was saying, that guy who was walking past, I think he was scared of talking to people. I know for a fact that it is painfully difficult to look at a stranger's eyes, and I've started doing it more. I'm more at ease with it, and now I'm realizing that literally everyone has that problem. Nobody is willing to look at each other in the eyes anymore. It's so weird, and I think that needs to change, guys. How is anybody supposed to feel at ease if you won't even meet their eyes? It's funny, I go to Circle K all the time. I'm like addicted to their diet soda, and it's only $1 for like this huge cup. And only recently have I questioned that too. I'm like, okay, this is probably not healthy to be drinking a giant cup of artificial sweeteners every day. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make is that I went in there and I tried to meet eyes with everybody who I walked past, just to like say hi or to smile at them. You can't smile at somebody without looking at them. So I did. I looked at people and I smiled at them, and it was so weird and embarrassing every single time, except for this one older lady who was in the candy aisle. I was there too, looking at the candy, and I just looked up and I smiled at her. And she looked right back into my eyes and gave me a polite smile. And all of a sudden it was like, hey, this is fine. This is good. And I just didn't feel alone anymore. It was so weird. Even just at the Circle K, talking to it, like not even talking to the stranger, just looking into her eyes. We're scared to do that. If you're not scared to do that, I would love to hear your point of view. Please leave your opinion in the comments below. But people are scared to look each other in the eyes nowadays, and I'm just wondering why. Do we have something to hide? I'm pretty sure we're all in the same boat right now. We're all glued to our phones for sure. I know I've tried to like get away from that, but it's still not perfect. We're back at the sprinklers. I looped all the way back around. Oh, that one's aiming at me. Brother, get away. Welcome to Half Asleep Rambling, because we got way off base there. Okay, here's the thing. After camp, after like being social, I was tired, like I was mentally drained. However, after about a day of resting, all of a sudden everything felt wrong. I felt so alone in a way that I had never ever felt before, because I didn't have all the connection that I did before. And I hadn't felt that the last few times I went because I wasn't trying, I wasn't looking for it, I wasn't connecting with people because I was too scared to connect with people. But guys, it's sickening. And the worst part is I'm not even sure where to go anymore. Like, obviously I still go to church, but my particular church doesn't have a crazy big youth group. Recently it has been growing, I will say that. And so it's not as bad as it used to be. But unless I want to go counseling at that camp, I'm pretty much done with camping. There is a fox. I'm sorry. Welcome to Half Asleep Rambling. We need to name this guy if we're going to be doing this at this park. Because every time I come to this park now, there is a fox. Are you Rambler? I think his name is Rambler, guys. You know what? It just fits. It's a tacky name, but it fits the theme. So yeah, that's one thing about me that has changed a lot ever since I finished my session of camp. I feel way more alone in comparison to what I was at camp. It's so weird. I hate it. It's terrible. But you know, it just goes to show how blessed I was in the moment, you know? I was around people who cared, and all I had to do was actually walk up and try. And so now I'm walking up and trying in real life, and it just doesn't work as well. But you know, that's just how it goes. You still have to try. Okay, so those are the first two things. I think I've gotten off track a couple times now. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna keep on going because I have one more thing. And I think I touched on it a little bit before, but I want to go into it a lot more. And that is the idea that it is in embarrassing moments where you can grow. It's in moments of pain when you grow. I think we can definitely broaden it out to that. I have many examples, or at least it feels like many of them in my head because they keep swirling around. Let's start with the first painful example, which is the Curator Club. Now, in case you don't know, I make YouTube videos way more edited than this about a video game called My Singing Monsters. And recently, that video game has introduced a special club for content creators about the game. It doesn't have to be directly like you're just talking about the game. It could be anything like even barely related to the game. If you create content semi-related to My Singing Monsters, you could get in. And it gives you a lot of huge rewards. It gets you extra recognition in the MSM community. And it has been one of my huge goals ever since I noticed it, like it was a thing, to join this club. I would say that compared to most of the other MSM creators I know, I have wanted this the most and for the longest. This means so much more to me than I feel like it does to a lot of creators. And over the last year, they have added in a lot of creators. Some of them are even less successful than I am. Less subscribers, less views. Absolutely no disrespect to them because it is such a huge and amazing thing that they got into this club, but I'm feeling a lot of rejection right now. I've been dealing with this over the last few months now. This overwhelming feeling of pain and rejection because I haven't gotten into this club. I have no proper words to describe the disappointment and pain that I feel, having been not technically rejected, but not included in this club. They know I exist. I know that for a fact. They have participated in my live stream in the past. They left a comment on my live stream. The fact is that they know who I am, and yet they did not consider me worthy of joining their club this time. And that doesn't mean it'll be forever, but I'm still feeling a lot of pain from that. What is my point? My point is that even though I am feeling a great pain from this, it has also been a very good growing point. I have compared myself to a lot of creators. They say never to compare yourself to anybody. I feel like this is a decent instance to do so. I compared myself. I'm like, what do all of these creators, many of whom are smaller than I am, what do they have that I don't? And the answer was shorts. Yes, a platform that I typically detest. I very much despise shorts because of what they do to your attention span. It's terrible. I quit shorts 5 years ago, and sure, not all my problems are solved. Obviously, I'm a wreck. But dude, I feel like if I was hooked on shorts or TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever they're called, guys, this is not worthy of our time, these short form videos, but it is one platform that I have not touched that all of these other creators have. And when I looked into it, I realized that it's the reason that my channel is growing significantly slower than channels around me. Shorts are an untapped market. It's a large amount of people. Shorts would not be around if people did not watch them. And that is why this month I started making shorts. I was very conflicted. I talked to a lot of creators about this, but I finally came to the conclusion that if I did it my way, that I would try making shorts. And already I have seen a massive bump in my subscriber count for my channel. It has been a significant amount. I have seen my numbers go up because of shorts already. So while I don't personally watch shorts, as long as I'm respecting the people who do watch shorts, like I'm respecting their time, I'm not trying to waste it by doing pointless content, I'm starting to see the benefit from that. But I wouldn't have grown that way if it hadn't been for the rejection from the Curator Club. I will give you another example of how a painful or embarrassing moment has helped me grow. A little over a year ago now, I got into my first relationship, and it was a long distance relationship. This was a mistake. Okay, obviously I was way more oblivious at the time. This was back when I had zero social skills. Not literally, you know what I mean. I didn't want to be social, but I was excited when I had this opportunity. It meant a lot to me, and so I did it. If I had life to do over again, I would do it again, but it was a very painful and confusing experience that did end up being very, technically unsuccessful. However, I consider that a success because of how much I grew after the relationship. During the relationship, I didn't know how to talk to girls at all. So because I had reached out in the first place and stammered my way through trying to connect to this girl, I don't know, it's a long story. The point is I did put in a little bit of effort, but then I was still completely inexperienced. I didn't know, being raised in a very Christian household, I knew that there were a lot of borders and rules, but I had not looked into them for myself, and so I was scared of doing or saying something wrong and hurting her. You know what I mean? It ended up going absolutely nowhere because I was scared and didn't know how to take it anywhere. And I ended up wasting months and months of her emotional energy, I'm sure. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I am sorry about that because that was a really weird experience. I would have done a lot of things differently. I don't even recognize the person that I was back then. I hope that wasn't too painful of a thing for you. Anyways, after that, after we cut things off, I went on a personal journey of self-improvement, and that is when so much stuff changed in my life. That flipped the switch for me. I realized that I was clearly doing something wrong, and so I started looking into it. That is the catalyst for why I started watching what I ate, working out now. It's what started me thinking about responsibility, where I actually want to go with YouTube, how I'm gonna make a living for myself. Those conversations would not have started if it hadn't been for that relationship. I would have been antisocial again for that camp session. I wouldn't have been willing to talk to anybody because it was only after that relationship that I wanted to. It's so funny because I didn't have any desire for human connection until I had human connection, and then I wanted more of it. But I didn't even know what I wanted until I had any of it. And as someone who was homeschooled, I didn't get that until summer camp. So even though summer camp has been a largely painful experience, it has also helped me grow socially. All that to say, please don't be afraid of doing painful things. You just have to learn what to do with that pain. You can either curl up in a ball and feel sorry for yourself, or you can take that pain and look at it and learn how you want to grow and continue and do better next time. That really is what I've been trying to get at this whole video. You can be better. In this current state of the world where instant gratification is so easy to come by, everything has become easier. But because so many things have become easier, the things that are not technologically driven have become so much harder because we're not used to doing hard things. So do hard things. Get out of the house, maybe go on a walk. Talk to the dude who does not look like he wants to have a conversation, and let that be an awkward experience that helps you grow. Of course, I want to leave you guys off with a Bible verse. So we have a set of verses from Ecclesiastes chapter 4. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. Ecclesiastes 4 verses 9 through 12. I really like these because they show that we need to put a priority on having friendships. We need to have connections with people. Like they're saying, a threefold cord is not quickly broken. If one man falls, another man can help him up. You have to have people. And the only way to have people is by connecting with them. The one thing that I had been missing for so long. So yeah, I know it's scary, but don't be afraid to embarrass yourself, dude. It's not the end of the world. I promise you, you're not gonna die if you embarrass yourself. It's just a moment for you to grow in. Guys, get out of your comfort zones. Thank you guys so much for watching this half asleep ramble. If you found it helpful, be sure to hit the like button so that YouTube will serve it out to more people. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you. God bless.